Bravo to Luciano Pavarotti for the best Nessun Dorma. Best Nessun Dorma, yes, performance I've ever heard in all my life. And also to introduce you one of the best knife I've ever had the pleasure to hold, let alone own in my collection. That knife, my friend, is absolutely exquisite from every angle. I'm sorry, it's exquisite, but I have to take out a little bit of the mess that you have on the blade. And of course, to wear gloves in order for you to appreciate the vivid and different colors that you have here on this magnificent frame. So what do we have here? Oh man, the smoothness of that knife. What do we have here? We have a lot of uniqueness actually in that knife that I'm gonna try to review it, because it's been now, I don't know, maybe a week that I have it in hand. I didn't want to make the emotional video that I'm usually used to, because I didn't want to miss something, and probably I would have been way too emotional to make a review. I don't even know that I'm prepared now, but I'm gonna try it anyway. So what do we have? We have first a custom knife, full custom knife from my friend Brad Southard. You have seen my review, or you have probably seen other review about Brad. You know the talent that he has. He started making knives that were really precise and sturdy, and he evolved in time in making such a precision work, such delicate knife, taking off a lot of material in order for them to be absolutely lightweight, with some crazy mechanisms inside. Yeah, I would consider him to be the closest to, I was going to say, a watchmaker. You know, it's that kind of precision we have there. Little gems. This is what Brad is offering us for the last years, I would say. And I absolutely adore his work. So getting a custom knife from Brad is always something that is, to me, kind of unique, and it becomes way more unique even in time, because he started making a really nice endeavor, actually, because he's so precise that he's taking forever to make a knife. So with that in mind, he decided to make this line of he calls them a performance series, which is what others call like mid-tech, but it's closer to a custom than a mid-tech. And I like the name of the performance series because it's actually done in-house by him. He's using machines, of course, but a lot of his own hand are involved in the build of those mid-tech. Everything. He does everything, but with the help of a lot of machining. In order to provide the possibility for more customers to get his knife, because, listen, just take blade. He went only with one custom knife, and that was this one, okay? I'm sorry, I have to wash that blade. I don't know what the hell... sorry, I didn't prepare the video. I should have. And he told me, I'd rather come with like 15 mid-techs and offer that to a lot of people rather than doing 2 or 3 custom for that show, and I understand that. But when you have the chance to get us to score, this is where I'm heading to. When you have the chance now to score a custom knife from Brad, that is already something that is becoming more and more unique. And the uniqueness goes even further at every level on that knife. First of all, we're going to start with the handle. As you can see, it's an integral. He hasn't done not even a handful of integral knives in his lives, let alone Mokutai 1, Timascus 1. This is come from AKS, actually, Alpha Knife Supply. So that's Timascus. So I don't know, I want to say maybe 3 full Timascus integral. So that is absolutely unique. The uniqueness continues here with that thing here. This is actually a pivot, okay? So the outside here is titanium with those lines, very nice milled lines here. And it's melted. It's constructed as a whole. So you have here, it's not a cover, it's a whole pivot. And man, does that gives an exceptional look. For all for all intents and purposes, this is absolutely the perfect pivot or cover or whatever you want to call it for that knife, actually, because it brings something that is beautiful. And when I told you that Brad was really looking, like a watchmaker, this is actually comes from the watch world. He showed me the pictures of some watches that has this kind of design on the case. So that comes from the watch world, so that's very, again, like bridges. And man, it's, as usual, it's flawless. It is absolutely neat, okay? So there's no gap whatsoever here. The junctions are incredible on both sides. It brings such a great look, and also it allows to prevent boredom, boredom on that handle. Because imagine that you have here a full frame, integral frame of Mokutai. Believe me, boredom comes easily. When you don't have the screws, when you don't have other material, when it's like a chunk of Timascus like that, even though you can add the groove or whatever. Having just a little screw or a regular pivot or whatever it is it wouldn't be sufficient to prevent probably boredom, and it would be, it would be boring to look at a knife like that. So having the possibility to have this to contrast, it replaces somehow a kind of bolster, so the idea is brilliant. And you have a window here, look at the little window to the Timascus. So that's absolute genius. All in all, it's genius. Boredom is also prevented by that groove. My friend, check that. That's what I call a serendipity. The pattern is never been used, so that's another uniqueness on that knife. It's the first time that Alpha Knife Supply brought that pattern to life. It was a big chunk of Timascus. We didn't even know how it would look, but I wanted to try it anyway. And look at that. The serendipity is here. We didn't know, with the line, the flow of the knife going that way, having lines that would interrupt, that would be perpendicular to the flow of the knife. It's not really within what we are used to. Usually, you have the flow of the knife and you're going to get the lines that are, when it's linear, okay, when it's totally random, it's random. But when it's linear, you're more likely to get for, that kind of pattern. Here, I didn't know where it would go. But man, look at that. The lines converge here exactly to the groove. So that the serendipity, because you cannot, this is something you can, think a little bit about it, but you wouldn't know until the end. And this is just the perfect outcome. Check that beautiful pattern, those purple, yellows, whites, even some beige, white, the blues. I absolutely adore the pattern, and I absolutely adore how the colors went. Of course, you had to go with the groove, and also look at that. A tremendous amount of contouring on that knife. So this is what I absolutely adore. To check the thickness here, check the thinness here. Absolutely adore the contouring. And again, with his usual idea to bring some, usually it's on the inside, but with an integral, it's harder. He's milling and taking off the most material possible in order for his knives to be like that, lightweight. You have a full integral here of Timascus. This knife weighs nothing. Why? Because you have the contouring, because you have the grooves on all the sides. It's insane. I really like what he did on the relief cut. Actually, it's not a pure relief cut. It's not like the milled lines that you have here. It's like you have like a kind of contour. I don't know if the video does it justice, but I really like what he did here. And look at this clip, perfectly well integrated in the frame. Beautifully executed, and again, all those colors. You have even more colors on this side than on the other one. It is absolutely brilliant. Check the beauty of the inside. I was that close to say of the back spacer. Of the back, period. As usual, look at that. The action is sublime. The smoothness that he brings. You have to realize that he is doing everything. On the custom, he's doing everything. Even on the MidTech, actually, he's doing like ceramic cage bearing system that he actually does by himself. He's taking ball by ball almost on a cage. He presses with his press, and he gets the cage bearing with the ceramic balls, and he brings a smoothness like nothing. I try to hear something. That is the sound of silence, my friend. A smoothness like nothing. Check here the detent. It's a free fall. The detent is breakable. Let me see. yeah, I'm going to try to take. It broke at some point, but you have to be really, really, really. This is not a workhorse, but the detent is exactly what I like it to be, because here, I mean, you see, it fires smoothly. You don't have to break your fingers to deploy it, and it's enough for the blade to not open in the pocket, which that knife will never actually meet the pocket. I mean, because that is a pure jewel intended to be just contemplated as what it is, a pure gem, a pure gem. So the action is and you cannot misfire. I'm going to try to press it the smoothest. Wait. Let's see. Even if you are, this is what I like about this detent. You know, it's smooth as. We are heading. We are heading to the 12 minutes. So I haven't even talked about the blade. I've said a lot of uniqueness on that knife. You have seen that on the frame. You have seen on the pivot. Now let's go with the blade. This model is called the Eims. So the Eims, usually it's a straight blade. This is the one and only, or the first for that matter, because he can make others if he decides from now on. But this is the first, that's the prototype of the Eims Persian. So that's the first time that he does a Persian on the Eims. Unique, again. A lot of, sorry, I'm dying. A lot of uniqueness also on this blade shape. And believe me, my friend, I have an Eims. The Persian goes so well. You know, you have this convexity of the frame here. So the flow of the Persian, you know, you have a curve here and a counter curve on the other side for the Persian. That is exactly what that knife needs as a blade shape, in my opinion. That's exactly how it should be. If I had to picture the best shape possible, I would picture that one probably. So a lot of uniqueness. And the last, but not least, of the uniqueness is the blade. We've discussed a lot about the blade. I wanted to have something clean, you know, to go with the mukutai, with the satin, but also I like the idea of a hamon. So we find that the best was to go for a ghost hamon. And man, that is also quite unique. Not unique per se, but very, very, very rare, because it is actually the fourth time in his life that Brad does a hamon. Third, fourth, fifth. I mean, it doesn't go. He told me he made maybe 3 or 4 hamon before this one. So it is quite unique also, because people usually don't ask him that, but man, look at that. I mean, you have the best of both worlds. You have the hand rub that you can appreciate. Very nicely done, as usual. Check that grind. I mean, the grind is sublime. This very delicate swedge that you have here, not a swedge, the top here, and the full hollow that you have here with those beautiful lines. And on the hard part, look at that. The very delicate and very refined ghost hamon. And the same is on the other side. I'm sorry, I didn't clean the blade before. And with this lightning, it's hard. Okay, you can see it here. Exceptional, very delicate, very refined, as the rest of the knife. Even the hamon is very refined, very delicate. You have to look at it, you know, from some angles. Sometimes you can even miss it. Look at that. The reflection of the light brings something really, really exceptional. So yeah, effortless to disengage, smoothness as like one of the smoothest. Listen, this is it. This is, I mean, you know, I like watches. Blues, blue gloves, blue knives. I like what this is. Like I said, Brad brings, I mean, the exquisiteness and the refinement of watchmaking in knife making, and that, my friend, is most definitely and undeniably awesome. I had to do it once in, I don't know, 5-6 years of making videos. I haven't done it in YouTube. So that, my friend, is awesome.